Hey guys, welcome to Grace's Place. So today I'm gonna make scones. I don't eat a lot of sweets even though I'm a pastry chef, but my favorite time to have sweets is in the morning for breakfast. When I was a kid, my mom used to take me to tea all the time because she's Irish and Scottish and she loves tea. So one of the things that I'd be really excited to get at tea were scones because I wouldn't really get them anywhere else. And it wasn't until college I learned really how to make a scone in pastry school. And I still love making them as like a breakfast treat. This is a pretty basic classic cream scone. I don't actually like blueberry scones. I much prefer the dried fruit in scones. I just think it's sweeter. So today I'm using apricots and raisins. And dried fruit actually absorbs a lot of the moisture from the cream and keeps it locked into the scone, which actually helps prevent it from drying out. If you do want to put fresh blueberries in this recipe, you can just supplement it by the weight. So I have 12 ounces of dried fruit. I have 6 ounces of raisins and 6 ounces of dried apricots, but you can do 12 ounces of blueberries. Just make sure you toss those blueberries in flour, so this way that glue doesn't run throughout your scone. So making scones is very simple. All you have to do is you get your flour, you get your leavening agent, which in this case is baking powder. Baking powder and baking soda are different. Alright, baking powder has baking soda in it, but it also has a little bit of cornstarch because it's ground a little finer, and it has generally an acid like cream of tartar. So this is our main leavening agent in this recipe. So I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of baking powder to this recipe and just a teaspoon of salt. Mix that together. That's my dry ingredients. So then I'm going to add my wet ingredients, which is going to be my honey and my cream. And twist it into a little pouch, right? So as long as you make that a little like tight balloon, my edges are a little low, you can pop the balloon and squeeze out all the honey. So once you got your honey in, you kind of want to move a little quicker because the honey's starting to hydrate the flour and you don't want to get clumps. You need 3 1/4 cups of heavy cream. So 1, 2, 3, and 1/4. So really quick, before you get your hands in there and start mixing it up, make sure you clear off your table because you're going to have to knead it out. So once I got a lot of the flour hydrated, alright, I'm going to add in my raisins and my apricots. And the reason for doing that is you don't want too many giant flour lumps stuck onto your raisins, in the grooves of your raisins and your apricot. Alright, so you're just going to start kneading it together. Alright, you might need a little bit more cream. I have a lot of dryness right here, so I'm going to add just a touch. It should be enough. Maybe a teaspoon. It's really important that once you get this coming together, you don't want to overwork it. It should have the consistency almost like a pie dough. Okay, so once it's all coming together, you're going to make it into a rectangle. So when you're making your rectangle, it's important you get those corners as sharp as you can, because we're going to be cutting this into triangles. So there's literally going to be no scraps, no waste, which is another reason why I love this recipe. I see a lot of scones cut in circles, and when I was a kid, you know, I thought scones had to be cut into circles in order to be scones, because I never saw a scone that was a triangle before. Obviously that's not the case. Now I think I mostly only see scones that are triangles, and anything that's cut in a circle, usually a biscuit. As you can see, this dough is really thick, right? So here are my fingers, goes up to like my first knuckle. And that's what I want. I like a nice thick scone. So now that I have my dough in my rectangle, it's time to cut it. So I'm gonna cut basically a tic-tac-toe board, 3 and 3. And I'm just estimating. You don't have to be perfect this way. You can see they're kind of different sizes, but that's okay as long as they're the same thickness. Then I'm gonna cut these into triangles. You wanna look at the corners, because obviously if this is what I was talking about, getting some good corners, if I cut it this way, this one's gonna be way too small. So I'm actually gonna cut it this way at the corners, just so the scone's a little more even. And then you have a nice scone right there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut the rest into triangles and get them on my pan. So because I have more room on this tray, I'm just gonna space them out because I can. And if you notice, some are like bigger than the others, and you wanna do all the big ones together and all the small ones together, that's also good too. The relative spacing I like to use for these is at least 2 fingers. They do rise, but not that much, so it's important to just give them a little bit of room. And also, the more room they have, the better the browning is going to be. And that's how it leads me to my next step, which I think is probably the most important detail when it comes to scones, is putting like a very large crystal sugar on top, because that's that crunchy little treat. Because the scones themselves aren't really that sweet. So I'm gonna take a little bit of cream and I'm just gonna paint the tops of my scones. Now I'm just gonna put some sugar on each one. And they're ready for the oven. Alright guys, so the scones just came out of the oven. They're really hot, but they're looking great. So what you're looking for, you got that nice crust on the outside. And then I'm gonna eat one of these right now, even though it's not breakfast time. But it's still, you got some steam coming out. It's still nice and moist in this inside. And that's why we had the oven at 400 and then reduced the heat. Kind of like actually how you would sear a steak to keep all the juices in. Kind of searing that outside, cooking it really quick, not only to keep it from spreading too much, especially if your dough is not chilled, but also to keep all that moisture in. And when they first come out of the oven, you don't even need to put anything on them. They're so good. Hot. Thanks for coming to Chef Grace's place, and I hope you come by again soon. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button.